I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question for Matthew. If he feels like I mean, I felt like when we got back running routes, we had a good, kind of like the return to play session. We got out there running routes, and um, we could go and throw whatever it was, 30 balls and 30 for 30, and he puts them in some good spots. I think the deep out breaking routes are probably the good ones. Where he's throwing back to his left to the blind side. He's throwing to a blind sideline. Did pretty good. And then we switched, and I threw him some passes, and he dropped a few. We were working on that. But to be honest with you, some of those came out a little low. I know the nose was down on some of them, making them tough on them. But yeah, I mean, I think we can come out of a session, but okay, we're in a good spot.
Because that outbreaker to the left, you guys ran that a couple times Monday, once on Monday, and then again today, and that seems to me like that's the
that's a tough one where Matthew's opening up to his opposite side and trusting that spot where especially when you're going up against the defense, and it's easier on air, but when you're going up against the defense and having to feel those spots and trust those throws, it's a pretty good one.
For you, these past 2 days, what's the big takeaway going against a different defense and a pretty good secondary?
Yeah, no, I mean, I thought we did some good things. I thought we had some competitive times earlier today. I think they kind of brought some pressures, and it's like, okay, shoot, they're bringing it a little bit today, and then we settled in and had some good stuff going there late, some big plays, some tough catches, and I don't know. It's fun going against some other guys. It's fun going against some other defenses, seeing how those guys are playing things, and just being able to compete without having to be like, okay, I'm running a route against the corner. It's seen me do this about 5 times already this camp, and just being able to get true looks on things, and so that's why I think these kind of joint practices are pretty cool. You get that game feel.
Soft tissue. Go ahead. Just my last thing is when you said, hey, the goal's not to come back week 1, but to be ready. Mm-hmm. As we're 2 weeks out, are you on pace for that?
Yeah, I feel like I am. I mean, and I definitely felt, the first few days coming back here earlier this week, just felt like, you're rushing things. You feel like, your hands and feet aren't working together. Your things are moving fast. It might be, seeing the patterns of the defense might be just feeling like you're behind the snap mentally, which is just never a place you want to be. You want to be able to, be ahead of that thing so you can play fast. And but man, just the importance it showed me of just repetition and being able to be out there and see things live and going through those reps and feeling them out. Because I mean, from day 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 now, it just the game just slows down progressively. So that's why I'm saying, like, going out there week 1 would be tough, not having that opportunity to see those reps. Have those reps and have that kind of stuff in your back pocket and being able to see those patterns. So, feel good about kind of the path we're on now.
Along those lines, soft tissue injuries can obviously be tricky. What landmarks do you look for personally for you to feel like, okay, now I know I can go out there and go at full strength?
Yeah, I think once you get to that point where just mentally you kind of turn off the switch where you're kind of like, you're going through it and you're always aware, you're hyper aware of, am I feeling anything in that spot? And once you can turn off that switch and feel like I'm just going, I think that's a good place to be. And then obviously you're trusting the training staff and the things that they've seen, what they're dosing for you in terms of your workload. And once you get to that place, you can just let it rip.
Thanks, Coop. Do you feel like you're back at 100%, or were there any glitches?
Yeah, no, I felt really good today. Felt really good. So I think that anytime you go off this, we've gone 4 in a row. Plane ride and bus ride in the middle of all that stuff, and so I think that a lot of guys are just feeling sore. So you get to this point, it's hard to tell, am I sore or am I hurt? And I think that's a good thing. You see these guys going out here and just being able to push through and be able to be physically, mentally tough players and go out there and compete today. So it was good.
Would you expect to play on Saturday, or?
Would I expect to play Saturday?
Yeah.
I don't plan on playing on Saturday. I mean, if it was a game, game 1, I'm playing. But yeah, I don't anticipate they're gonna have a ton of the guys that haven't been playing. I don't expect them playing.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Years in the making.
What are you going to ask me?
No, how good is it to finally get into a practice setting and even try to do something with the Broncos for a little bit?
Yeah, it's been good. It was really great to be able to work with Sean. I think it's a huge credit to their team, too, where we were able to get 2 good days of work, good competitive work, but we were able to get it all in, and there wasn't any stuff that took away from us being able to get that done, and I think that's a real credit to both teams. I think we both got better over these last couple days, and there'll be a lot of stuff that we can learn from, which is exactly what you're hunting up.
Cooper Kupp said the goal isn't to come back week 1, it's to come back, be ready fully 100%. From what you're seeing, is he on pace for that?
I think he'd be better equipped to answer that. If there's anybody that's going to do everything in his power to take care of himself, to take care of his body, to be ready mentally and physically to peak on the 10th of September, it's going to be Cooper. And so I know that he's been working through some different things throughout the course of this camp, but he's a mentally tough guy, and he's going to be a hugely important part of our team this year, and looking forward to getting him back out here on a consistent basis.
How does he appear to you so far?
Yeah, I thought he looked really good. We wanted to be limited with him today, but he's gotten a lot of work over the last 4 days. We've gone 4 days in a row, going, Thursday, so Monday through Thursday, and that was really a ramp up of his workload, but that was kind of what we wanted to be able to do, and he looked really good. He looked like Cooper, and that's an excellent player for us.
3 weeks in, John Johnson, how's he developing football-wise?
I think he's doing really well. I think getting himself into football shape, he was in good physical shape, but when you're actually putting the pads on, getting used to just playing the game as opposed to kind of working out in the weight room or over at Sports Academy, you can see he's got his bounce and his step back. He's getting comfortable with a lot of the things that maybe have just been slightly tweaked over the last couple years since he's been here, but he's got position flex. He's super smart. He has great concept recognition, and I think you're seeing that show up on the tape.
I know you're focused on the Rams, but what do you think of this version of the Broncos? It's been a few years since they've been where they like to be as a franchise.
Yeah, I'm super impressed. I think it starts with Sean, and then you look at they've got great players, and there's going to be a problem with the schemes that they can present in terms of coaching and player skill sets aligning, and I think that's a really good thing for Broncos Nation. Really enjoyed the work that we got in, and I think our players were able to get better just going against the caliber of people that they have on this roster.
Is there a play, I asked Cooper the same question, but is there a play when you see Matthew and Cooper work together after missing some time with each other that says, oh yeah, they're back?
There was a play in a third down period where the ball had to come out in perfect timing, and it's a far sideline throw, and it was on a third down in one of those tighter windows in those medium ranges, and as soon as his eyes come around, that ball's on him. And that was one that was an excellent execution. It's one of those deals that even if you're not great in protection up front, the ball's out in such good timing and rhythm that it can overcome it. And we happen to have good protection on that play that I'm talking about. But that was one of those that stood out. But there was a lot of plays that I thought Matthew and really the skill players in general, guys were competing, and they had good tight coverage, and they made a handful of plays, and that's what we want to be able to see.
That's the one he said too.
And that's awesome.
Yeah.
Sean, at the owners' meeting, you said you were looking forward to Sean Payton being back in the league and flipping on Broncos tape on Monday to steal. Have you let Sean know you like stealing from him?
Oh, he knows that. The respect that we have is he knows the respect and admiration and appreciation I have, because I think the thing that I've continued to grow with my respect in regards to him and some of these guys that have done it for such a long period of time is the consistency and how hard it is to be able to recreate yourself and figure out new ways to evolve, to adapt, but then still have an identity philosophically with how you want to operate. How do you adjust to your team? And I think that's always been a staple of Sean's. And so, yes, I am looking forward to being able to have another team that I can look to steal stuff from, but I'm not too proud to admit that we'll do that from everybody. So that's a good thing.
What's the plan for tomorrow?
Plan for tomorrow is, we want to get these guys turned over, get them recovered. We'll probably just do a walkthrough, get them ready to go for Saturday for those guys that are playing, and then we'll have the guys that aren't playing, those guys will lift.
Anything different? Couple more guys. Anything different you'll look for out of the final preseason game?
Same thing, Stu. You want to just continue to see guys represent themselves well, continue to try the best that they can to be able to earn a spot on our team. And if not, then I think it is important for them to be able to showcase their skill sets, do well, so that when other teams look on that film, if it's not for us, that they get an opportunity to be able to continue on their playing career. And that's always been an important thing for us. Okay? Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Coach.
All right.